Hey, there I am. Jesus Christ. Oh, boy. See, I cut a hole in my wall. Can you see that? Nice, right? You'll see what that's for. It's very cool. All right, so I am. Oh, wait, hang on. We'll have this all worked out in a couple of years. Don't worry about it. All right. Okay, let's try that. Is that better? That's a little better. All right. So what is happening here? What's that? Is I was asked by KHB, isn't it getting close to your bedtime? Really? You got jokes? You got jokes? Okay. It's good. I can take it. Elliot, please stop talking. YouTube is about 20 seconds behind Crowdcast. All right, let me see if I can get that here as well. I'm still in my Steely Dan phase. It's always like that. That's true. My channel. I don't think I get it on my phone. Nope. Oh, that's the wrong one. Hang on. Nope. Let's try that. Negative. Steely Dan phase. No, I'm revisiting it. I'm not just discovering it. Okay, that does not show up on my group. Nope. Is it on? Is it on the YouTube? Yeah. All right. Cool. Okay. So what I think is happening here, because I'm not quite sure, was that a bunch of very buzzed ladies, housewives from Minnesota called, and I did 2 seminars out there with another trainer, and then was asked to come back to a group of former students. So I will be going out there for number 3 with this group, number 5 overall in December. Yeah. So just so you know, they were talking yesterday and said, how can we get the word out? And I said, you guys can come on and do a live, but I don't want it to be scripted. I don't want anybody to say anything. So you guys can ask questions of people who have been to seminars as recently as last week, and before that, the one in Minnesota. So without further ado, which one of you crazy housewives would like to talk to the pubs? And remember, they've probably been drinking, just so you know. I almost feel it should not be called a seminar. Okay. Kathy, who's coming on? Kathy. Diane says Kathy's coming on. I'm driving. Kathy, you organize this and you're driving. Jesus Christ. All right, well, guys, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Everybody, drive safe. Tip your waitresses. I'm still eating ribs. Okay, so, guys. Okay. Oh, my God. I flossed for this. Oh, I am rolling the dice tonight, boy. All right. There we go.
Hi.
What are we doing?
I had bacon for dinner and I had it stuck in my teeth. I'm like, I can't talk to people with bacon stuck in my teeth.
Yes, you can. I have 2 genetically missing teeth, like right here and right here. Yeah. I talk to people all the time, and there's probably bacon in there right now. So yeah, I don't know what we're doing. I know you guys were probably drinking heavily last night. Tell me you weren't.
No, we weren't. I had like half a seltzer. I didn't. I usually do hard liquor, and I don't do hard liquor when I have to drive. Yeah, I'm a whiskey drinker.
Give me some hard liquor.
Oh, thank you, Chelsea. Yes, it is.
Oh my God, Chelsea. The estrogen level is going through the roof here. Well, here's the thing. Like, so all you guys were like, oh, let's do something. I said, who wants to come on? Diane bails, Kathy bails, Tina bails, everybody bails. Everybody bails. So I'm like, okay, it's Candace, and Candace has been to, when was that seminar? It was like 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, the one here.
Yeah, and you hosted this one.
Yep.
Yep. And yeah, thoughts on that? I mean, I don't know. Like, here's what we're gonna do. It's awesome, great. Yeah.
Out comes the angel we all need.
Candace.
Me. All right. Well, it was definitely a huge learning curve this time compared to the other ones. I really felt like I was owning my own shit, so to speak, with the problems I've caused and just the way that I am.
Well, you didn't know you were causing them, and that's something that people don't know. And so, you had been to the other ones under a different trainer, and and it's different because that's where you kind of were like, my dog just bit Dylan. Like, what the fuck is that? Right? Like, how did that happen?
Yep.
And I think it was a lot of why you shouldn't do barn hunt, though I've been working on that for months.
Yeah.
And then I think when it was at your place, you were just a lot more comfortable. And it was definitely something where I think you were contributing more. And I think you were asking better questions. And when your very gracious family took me fishing and you had your dog running around and I'm like, meh, meh, like losing my mind. And she was like, so Chris, I go, I'm not talking to you right now. I'm not talking to you right now.
I can see the twitching. So I'm like, I'm going to get my leash now.
No, I'm like, is your dad around? Can you take me on the boat? Is that but I think you have to be honest with people. And I think it takes time for people to trust me. I think I'm not trying to hurt anybody, but when you've been burned by so many trainers, you start to go, the fuck are we doing here? Like, why is this guy talking about this shit? And I think it's, I see huge improvements in the bastard that is your dog. And it's really neat to watch you come out and just, like, you were there. I think it's the first time where you were like engaged and like, I have a question, I have this, and I really encourage that. I want people to do that. But it's hard to do that when you're being dictated to, when you're being told to do things like, you fucking do this, don't ask, trust what I'm doing. I don't know if there was anything I didn't explain when it was asked.
No, you explained everything when it was asked.
Probably too
very
much.
Well.
Probably
you did very well.
All right. So what was your biggest takeaway from this last seminar that you had?
Well, I guess how much my husband's in the other room, so hopefully he doesn't hear me. But true.
Just some personal growth. We'll leave it there.
A little bit.
Some personal growth. That's right.
Learning how to stand up for myself in my personal life, my marriage with my dog, because I am a much bigger enabler of bad behavior than I realized, and with, like I said, with my personal life and with my dog.
Yeah, but it's just how you do anything is how you do everything. And so you're kind of in that category with Kathy, which is like, just keep the peace at all costs. Like, just keep the peace. And the problem with that kind of mentality is that you're always making compromises. You're
Mm-hmm.
constantly making. So one of the things I tell people is you cannot lead if you're making compromises. Now, in
Mm-hmm.
a marriage, you have to make compromises. With your dog, you do not.
Mm-hmm.
With your relationship with your parents, you have to make compromises. With your dog,
Mm-hmm.
you do not, unless you're at your parents' house.
True.
Right. And that's one of those things where I tell people, I think I told Danielle, leave the dog at
Mm-hmm.
home
Yep.
because it's so conflicting to the dog. But it was great to actually see, like we were fishing around the point and I could
Mm-hmm.
hear him screaming. And I'm like,
I, I'm like, I tried to text my mom too. I'm like, did you leave him out? Because I can hear him. Please put him away.
you were with me on the boat. And I'm like, that's not him. You're like, that's him. I'm like, that's not him.
Yeah, at first I didn't think it was, and Alan's like, no, that's him. I'm like, ugh.
So it's hard because people can undermine what you're trying to do. And one of the things that I tell spouses is if they have a hobby or they have a passion, like say it's a water skiing, right? Because I know your husband likes to water ski, right? And
Surf.
oh, I beg your pardon. I beg your
I
pardon.
know that's all for
I
him.
beg your
It's like,
pardon.
whoa.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon. But if your husband, like if you undermine his hobby, he'd be pissed. But when they undermine your hobby, which can bite somebody, it's like, So the family has to be united. Like the family has to understand that we are all on the same page. That we have to get on the same page. And I'm not shy about telling people. I don't yell at them, but I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, she's trying her fucking ass off, and what are you doing?
Yep.
And it's a time where I think that a dog can actually bring out the best in people, but it can also bring out the worst in people. So if everybody understands how the dog thinks and they are all on the same page and they're committed, you can do some amazing things with the dog and family because it's all communication. So what you're learning here is how to communicate, and your fatal flaw is that you enable and you don't stand up for yourself. So we have to kind of work on that. It shows right in with the dog. It shows right away.
Yep.
And I get is it so compare the first one when you first met me where you were probably like to now, because we had a lot of meals together. Like we had a lot of meals together and stuff, and we talked, and there was a baby throwing knives, which was frightening.
There was.
What is it with me when I go out there? People throw fucking cutlery at me. What?
I don't know. It's
you wouldn't believe it. They had a fucking whipping cutlery. And get down! Like I was like, hit the deck. It was bad.
Yeah. I'm like, why are you letting your baby play with a butter knife? That's not a good idea.
Looked like a machete to me.
Yeah, I wondered if it was a steak knife.
Those people were laughing their asses off, right?
Oh, they would. The mom sprayed food like out her mouth. She laughed so hard.
But we have fun. Like, I mean, I don't think, like, it's not like
fun.
because I'm a big scary guy. People are like, it's going to be terrible.
No, not at all.
No, we have fun. We have fun.
No, you fit right in with my family too.
Oh yeah, they're great. They're very cool. It's really fun to get to know people, and it's one of those things where there's people that you go, I don't know, the people who don't want to learn don't ask you to go out to dinner, and they don't.
Oh, is she trying to get in?
Oh,
hi.
It's dark. I'm still driving, but at least.
Uh-oh.
She's gone.
She broke was it the number one rule?
Yeah,
Don't be driving.
You can't do that. You can't do it. I mean, this was her idea, right? Like she picked the time, right? Right?
Yeah, and she just saw Linda, so I know that's where she is coming from.
Oh, that's good. I miss me some Linda.
I'll tell her hi tomorrow because I'm supposed to see her tomorrow.
Okay. Give her a big smooch for me.
I will. I'll see how that goes over.
That's my little voodoo doll that she travels with. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
One fucking rule, Kathy. That's all. Yeah, and it's different for every dog too, right?
Yeah.
It's not technical where you're like, this is how you turn the e-collar on.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like that. And it's
Yep.
I don't know, you should be telling people. Look at Tina, don't text and drive. Yeah. So go ahead and tell the people. I don't know. You're just like, what am I doing?
Well, it's definitely, every dog is different. You can't just put all of them in cookie cutter. Like you wouldn't tell me to do the same things that you told Carla to do.
Yeah.
With Pearl, every dog is different. Not every dog needs the same things.
Nope.
And to do all of it the same way is a big disservice.
It is, because you start getting into patterns and
Mm-hmm.
the dog is like, okay, I'm bored, or I see the pattern, or
Mm-hmm.
like bad habits. One of the things that I preach a lot is like, you have bad habits. Like people have different bad habits. There she is. Pick the ribs out of your teeth, woman.
I'm done eating. That's when they got done. I didn't plan well today.
Who knew? Who knew? How's it
They're
going?
ribs. They take like 6 hours. You'd think I'd be like ready and prepared, but
That's
no.
a badge of honor when you're talking to me. Are you kidding me? Like, what are you doing? So can you tell the good people about your seminar experience?
Yeah. So I mean, the first one with you was the 2-day one, and I was definitely like intimidated. It was a lot of information.
Yeah.
It was a lot of different information. So it was very different than any other previous training that I've had.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot. I had like a bajillion questions, but I didn't really know how to formulate them.
Well, you were kind of being a pussy too.
Well, yeah, no, I was totally chicken shit to take my dog out. Like, I thought I was
That's
gonna
my
like,
dog, woman. That's my dog.
yeah, he is your dog.
animal.
Oh, when I'm watching your lives and he hears you talk, he's like looking at the computer all like lovey, and I'm like, man, you love Chris more than me.
That's my boy.
No, I mean, I was totally chicken shit to pull him out of the kennel at the first one, and you're like, go get him, and I'm like, all right, I have to do this, and the whole time I'm like dying, but at the same time, I knew, like, even in that first seminar, like, you know what the fuck you're doing, so I'm not like, you're not going to start a massive dogfight. So the second one was just like so much more relaxed, and I could really take a lot more information in and process more.
Well, you are more relaxed. That's the thing, is like so I talk about trust all the time. It takes time. I'm not trying to get people, like, I'm not like, hey, trust me. I think people need to watch. I think they need to watch. And like you say, they drink from the fire hose with information. And it's like, Jesus, that's, especially in 2 days. In 2 days, it's like shotgun blast. It's not ideal if it's your first seminar for two days. But if there's a smaller group of people, we can kind of slow it down. And that's the hardest thing, is that, and I'm talking to 2 people who are completely different with their dogs, and you have the same breed. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And your experiences in life are what make the communication bad or good, because of what you're going through as a human being. Like, it really does. Like, it's not the dog, it's you is not a joke. Like, it's not a joke. And when you are grieving, or when you're angry, or when you're scared or happy, you start to do things differently, and the dog kind of sees everything in a different way. Now, if someone's married and someone isn't, then that dog has 2 people. If you go to your parents' house, then there's 5 people. It's learning to read the dog, but before you do that, learning to read yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think, for me, especially in this most recent, the 5-day seminar, I learned a lot about myself, and that I want to change things. And I'm finding that I'm starting to be a better communicator. I'm starting to stand up for myself more at work. Mm-hmm. So it's the whole life. It's approaches that I can take in a lot of different areas of my life, mm-hmm. because I'm realizing that I'm neurotic because he's neurotic because I'm neurotic.
It's just communication. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I'll take a mirror, not literally, but I'll go, you see what the dog sees? Like the dog's eye point of view is all that matters. And I do a couple of games that we play, and people, it's funny because whoever's shy, it goes away because everybody gets competitive. And it's really fun to watch people kind of put can you and Diane save the lesbianics for later on? If you start to the more you participate, the more you're going to get out of it. The more questions you ask. But there are people who are like, dance monkey, solve all my problems. And I'm like, that's not what I'm here for. If you've been to another seminar, this is completely different than anything you've ever seen before. I would guess. No?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been to another seminar?
Oh.
For dogs? No.
I don't think for dogs. I've only ever been to like classes and stuff like that. I don't think I've been to any like seminars.
Yeah. Let me kick Candace off because I'm going to bring Kathy on, okay?
All right.
I'll see you in a
Bye.
bit. So that's a big thing. It's like if you've been to another seminar and you've been to my seminar, I don't care what you say. Like it's not if you had a bad time, I would still be like, all right, well, let's talk about that. Why did you have a bad time? And why would you do this? And why would you do that? Like, I'm not running from it. Because you saw at the seminar before this last one, there were some people who really expected me to do things and they got a little heated. And I was like, what are you getting heated about? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
I know them pretty well. I worked with her for a long time. So
yeah, it's just not for them.
It surprised me because of how much she wants improvement, but doesn't necessarily want to give up. Like I'm understanding now, and it's just recently that I'm understanding that I don't have to give up. So I need to be a certain way with Hank for a time period so we get a better relationship before I could do the things that I just want to do right now.
Yep.
And I think she didn't want to have that period of time.
Well, but the thing is, so people and you ladies can talk to you at Hi, crazy housewives. I think the first thing people say to me when I do something is they're so afraid. That happened with a lady in Panama today. Like this lady's desperate. She had, get this, if you think you got it bad, she had a dog trainer come to her house while her 6 dogs were out on the front lawn and they wouldn't come back. So she called the dog trainer and they slapped garbage cans lids to chase the dogs back into the house. And I'm like, yeah, don't do that. She goes, no, they bit the guy. And I'm like, okay. So if you think you got it bad, you don't got it bad, right? But I think it's like it's how people communicate. They get used to communicating in a way that's not conducive to being clear. And if you're avoiding shit or you're like Kathy, I have a really good moment where I'm kind of just scolding you a little bit, going like, this is your time. Like you're sitting there trying to keep everybody else happy, including me, and you're missing your time because you're trying to keep everybody happy. Drink some prune juice and shit that out because you're wasting time.
Yep.
All right, good. And Diane, I got a lot of emails about the beatdown.
Yeah.
People.
I sent all of them.
What? You sent all of them? Yeah, I bet you
I
did.
sent all
So
of them.
here, I'll give you the bell. Here's the deal. That Diane rivals me in force of nature. Like, I'm a lot. And nobody says no to Diane. Nobody says no. She is all go, no quit, like, let's go. And look at this. What's up, big sexy? No. So what happens is that you start to go, that's not going to work for you. That's not going to work for you. That's not going to work for you. And you're like, dude, what are you trying to tell me? And I'm like, walk through the mother
Oh
fucking.
God.
You're like, but why? And I'm like, walk through the dog. Like, just do one thing.
God.
And
Did you hear Carla gasping like every time she walked around the dog? I'm sitting next to Carla and she's like, and I'm like, it's okay, Carla, she'll get it.
I'm like,
But that's-
I had a mind meld. I don't know what happened.
I can barely hear. She sounds like she's in a fucking shoebox. The problem that happened, Diane, is that you have to come out of what you're comfortable. Your comfort zone will fucking kill you. And in a lot of ways, you're really good at being uncomfortable, but not in the communication way. Like, I'm telling you, this lady's like, she's buff, she's strong. She pulls up on a bike and I'm like, where did you come from? And she's like, oh, I drove like 3,000 miles here this morning. I'm like, what the fuck? Her bike weighs like nothing. She's clipped in. Like when she said to me, I have balance problems. This is where you get, I have balance problems. Like, bitch, I saw the picture on your fucking Facebook page of you paddleboarding with a Rottweiler on the paddleboard. Stop.
Sometimes I just like my eyes and my body don't connect and I get a little wibbly. Not all the time.
I know. But I'm just saying to you, there was a girl there that had feet that big. And she's sweet, but I'm like, she got little feet. And she's like, I'm a klutz. And I'm like, you are a klutz. You are like honest to God, it's like, Mrs. America. Like you don't understand. Like if there was a female Captain America, it would be Diane. She's like, dun, 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 dun. And you're like, where are you? Like, you've got to get into, because this dog's a great fucking dog. Like, this is like, I'm like, just give him to me. Just give him to me. I'll take him. Like, I'll take him. Like, I'm going like, shut up, Chris. I'm like, I'll train one for you and I'll bring it back. You can have everything you want. I just want him.
God damn it. Odin.
What is it?
Odin.
It's what?
Odin.
Walk through it? What is it? You start getting it right. I'll start calling him the right name. Like the things to get mad about, right? Like she's like, it's Odin. Walk through the dog. What? It's the greatest thing.
Oh my God.
It's the greatest thing.
This is kind of what I'm talking about. Like, I really think, because people think like, oh, I'm gonna go to like a seminar, and you think like it's not what you think. So I was thinking about it today, and like we were together last night. Like it almost needs to be renamed, because I feel like, to me, what seminar says is like you're coming in and then you're basically leaving with almost like a like a pamphlet or a booklet, and here are the things to follow.
So here's the bullet point.
Yeah, but I mean, like, since I don't even know what else it could be called. Gosh, there's got to
therapy,
be right? There's got to be something. And well, the big thing we were trying to do last night was, because we've got we've got people that we want to start to work with you and get the help, because we see that they need it so badly. But trying to explain to someone what this is it's challenging. You start to tell people that, like, oh yeah, well, and then 5 people started crying, but, and then people are like, well, why do I want to pay money to cry?
Yeah. It is something that people are like, I think people want things to be antiseptic. Do you know what I mean? Like they just don't, just tell me the technique and I will do what you tell me to do. That's how you fucking got here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You can't keep doing I'll look right, Diane and Mrs. Captain America. If I start eating pie and I'm like, God, I'm so fat, the first thing you're going to tell me to do is put down the fucking pie, right? That's the first thing. And people are like, so the lady in Panama, I'm like, you got to get some crates for these dogs. No, I cannot. I'm like, no, like they're running around like beating the shit out of each other, and you've got a little pack there. No. I need you to fix it without that. What? Like what? Like you're looking for a technique, and I don't do that. I don't do that. That's not what I'm doing.
Right, and that's where a few of us got like booted off of this one page, because Diane, like, oh my God, just put up an advertisement for the seminar, because we're having like, we're not filling it like other things have been filled, and everyone wanted to know like, oh, what's Chris's resume, what does he do, and so even you give people that stuff, and
it's never good.
Well, why would I spend that kind of money on like something I'm not even sure I need? It's tough. It's tough.
I mean, it is tough, but the problem is that I've been training dogs for a long time, more than half my life. And I've done what people have done. I've done that. I've gone and bought the equipment, and I've gone into that, and it doesn't work. And so when I try to help people, it's at a very personal level. Would you agree? Oh, there's Beth. Now, Beth came to a seminar at the mill and apparently is talking to aliens at this point. But that's the thing, is like, I think, it's problem solving 101. And it starts with the human. If I cannot communicate with the human, I cannot get to the dog. Cannot.
Yep.
And it always starts with the human. Beth, what was your experience? You were at a different seminar.
Yeah. No, I had the headphones on because the kids went to bed.
Wait. I love when it goes.
Yeah.
The best. Go ahead. I'm listening.
My experience, I'm hearing my echo. It's terrible. But my experience was eye-opening. I've been to 1 million detection seminars, and this was so different than that.
And what we did at that seminar was personal to you guys. Like we did some team building, we did some other things, and it was like, it was problem solving. It was all kinds of different, but every seminar is different. Every seminar is very, very different. But it is the same. It's always focused on the person. And that's a hard look. Like, I know when Danny was there, that was hard for her. But guess what? That's the problem that's keeping help from her dog. So, and I go back to the parent analogy all the time. I'm a parent, okay? I'm a parent, which means that the shitty human being I was before I had kids, you guys will never be that person. I was not a good person. I was raised in a housing project, and it was crazy, and it was all bad. But you have kids, and you go, we got to fucking change this shit. You got to change this shit. And that dog training helped me through that. Dog training was like, dude, you can't get this result doing the thing you're doing. You can't do it. And so it got so much clearer. Now I know when I pick up the leash on Otis, whatever his name is, what's his name?
Odin.
Oakland. I pick up. See that? That's disrespect right there. Yeah. The first time I met Diane, I was like, that's a lot. And I took her dog's leash, and her dog wouldn't even look at her. Her dog was like, if I had thumbs, I'd kill myself. Please get me out of here. And I'm like, watch. And I worked with the dog for just a couple minutes, not to show her what to do, but to show her what's possible. That's that's what happens. And you watch these dogs who are having all kinds of problems. Like these dogs will go to a veterinarian for like skin problems. I'm like, we can fix that. Not all of them, but it's stress. And it's stress based in communication. And it's really difficult. It's really difficult to get people to understand because they don't know anything. And what you're told by dog trainers today is it's not. Most dog trainers don't know what the fuck.
I don't know what's happening.
I don't either. I have no
Kathy
idea.
went in the house because it's fucking cold outside.
You're very cold outside.
Diane has some worse potty mouth than I do.
I have what?
Nothing. I said you're wonderful.
Wait, what?
Thank you for being you.
You're a little delayed.
Yeah.
So Beth, when you I will say there was an emotional part to what look at her face.
That's fair.
Yeah. What did you take out of that emotional part?
Well, you certainly hit the nail on the head with a lot of stuff. But it definitely kind of made me accountable for how I come off, to my dog and other people.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And I just were like, why don't we work on that? And she did. And that's big ball shit. Like I would tell you that I think you did so much work in that short a time, and that it's kind of are we doing the do on the couch? What are we doing there? I think you did like what you left with is you're still processing it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, through the whole seminar, I worked a lot on myself. I didn't even hardly get my dogs out. It was just understanding how I come off to people, how I work with people. It was very helpful. I mean,
it sounded. This is what I mean. It's like the minute you get. Remember how we do? Like I watched Jason go when we were working with Dexter. Is that his name? Dexter. And Jason's like walking by, going like, "I've never seen anything like that in my life. Like I've never. Like what was that? What was that? Hey, Jason, you want to do a testimonial? It was a great seminar. We had food. You can't get people. Like we can film people like going, "What the fuck just happened?" Like, and it happens a lot. And if you guys are looking at any of the footage from the last seminar here, all you hear is Kathy going, "Yep, yep, 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 huh, yep, yep, yep." It is craziest. So I told Shalonda, I go, "No more Kathy on the camera. No more." It is.
I'll do better.
I expected you to be like, "Testify." Like I was like, "What are you doing?" It was crazy. All right, Beth, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to bring Lisa on. Thank you for coming on. And next time, just try to calm down. Okay. We don't want that rowdiness here. And I hope to see you soon. And take care of my dog, please. There we go. Okay. So I don't think she'll. She's kind of a chicken shit. Where is she?
She'll come.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love her.
We all love her.
I love her. And where's Carla?
Carla is family time tonight.
There's my girl.
Yeah, I told you she'd come.
What up, Lisa?
Yeah,
Hi,
girl.
guys.
So listen, I wanted to say something to you. I've been wanting to say it for a little bit. I tried to do a live on your little group and stuff like that, right? You have nothing to feel guilt about. You trusted, you got fucked, you trusted again, you got fucked again. It caused a lot of problems. You didn't understand what was going on with the family stuff. You didn't understand what it would be. And what was the turning point for you?
You grab my sweatshirt that's on the back of my door.
time. Well, I definitely needed time. When I was at the seminar, so many things just kept coming up. Like you'd say, oh, well, when you do, trust is fragile. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay. And then I saw things happen with Dexter and I'm like, oh shit. Okay, well, we've done that. And then so many people like kept saying things like Kathy would say, oh, that happened with my dog. I was taught that way. And I'm like, oh yeah, I did that. And then someone else would say something. I'm like, oh, I did that. And pretty soon that just started to stack up for me.
Yep.
And then I came home and I was like, I'm done. I'm sick and tired of everyone saying your dog's messed up and oh my God, your dog's screwed up and it's you and it's you. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. But I was still trying to deal with all of the stuff that was coming in from the seminar at that point. And then I was sitting at hockey the other day and you had done a live that day and I was watching my kid skate and he was like trying his hardest and he'd fall down and mess up on something and he couldn't get something right, but he'd get back up and do it again. And I'm like, geez, my kid's 9. He has a happy balance in life. He can go to school, he can ride his bike, he can do all this stuff and he's got a happy balance, but he works hard at every single thing he does. And I kept thinking like, I can't give up. I can't quit. I can't feel guilty anymore. I just can't. Because if I continue to feel guilty, I'm allowing that to stop me from ever moving forward.
Yep.
And while, I was, taught the wrong things and trusted the wrong people, I still hung on to that a lot. Well, what if I was the one that was the problem? What if it was me and I wasn't listening to that stuff correctly? And then every time I would think that, I'd be like, oh, well, Kathy went through that. Joanne went through that. And then listening to Angie go through it with her dog. And I'm like, holy crap, we've all gone through this. So it's not just me.
Nope.
So it was pretty much being able just to say, I want to be nice. I mean, I try to be nice to everybody and I try to think the best of everybody. But at that point I was like, fuck this. I'm done. I'm just done. And I'm sitting at hockey and I'm like ready to cry. And I see some parents like walking by and I'm like, oh my God, if I cry in hockey, they're really going to think I'm nuts right now. So I'm like sitting there and I start typing away on my phone. I'm texting Chris and I'm like, I'm just done. And it for me, it was just, I think just letting go and starting to finally say, this is not just about cash. This is not just about me. This is not just about my kids or my husband or Tiffany or anybody else that I've had. Oops, sorry, wrong person to say. Anybody else out there?
Whatever. Go ahead.
It's about everything. And so I had to.
Uh-oh. What? We missed the best part.
I lost audio.
You did.
Ah!
Lisa, you're on mute.
We can't hear you. Lisa, we can't hear you.
Oh, she was
And it was the best part.
What's that happen? Like every time someone gets passionate, like even me, the mic goes like, nope.
It happened to you this morning.
Nope. Yeah, I'm like,
it's like
ready to preach. It's gone.
It's like a rep,
Yep.
right? You get
she just left.
Damn
She
it.
wants to come back. She's gonna go kick the shit out of Cash. Hang on. Is she back?
Sorry.
Oh, thank God. What were you saying?
Yep.
No.
So
Somebody was calling me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. So it was a lot of stuff happened. But I kind of had to shut off things for a little while after that seminar because so much information came in. I felt really horrible about a lot of things that I had done, a lot of things that I allowed happen to Cash.
Stop.
I know.
Stop. No, you don't.
It was.
What did you just say? What did you just say?
Yes, I need to stop. Yes, I need to stop. But I had to go through those emotions. I had to go through that.
Process it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what that meant though.
Oh, I know. And I had a lesson today with a student that I hold very dear that needed to be done. and April Gilbert Collins was here watching, going like, "What are we doing?" And then we got through it, and the student went, "Fuck, I get it." And those are lessons. Lessons suck. Nobody hit anybody. Nobody yelled at anybody. But all of a sudden, it was like, "Holy fuck, that's how I talk to people." Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's hey, welcome back. You know, I mean, it's tough, but that's where it starts. The other thing too is I don't think people understand, and I don't want you to give but this dog, Cash, was pronged, choked, e-collared, you know, all these different things, and you know, you're told trust the process and blah 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 blah, and you're a very trusting person, you're a very good person. And I could see kind of the fire going out in your eyes about the dog. And so what did I say to you?
Well, you took my dog after one of the seminars because you said at that point I could tell I had to show you that you can basically trust versus just saying it.
Yeah. So I took the dog to the hotel and we just had a fucking blast with the dog. We just did all this shit with the dog. We took pictures of me in a hot tub. I put a bra on. And am I lying?
You're not lying.
I was courteous. Nobody needs to see that. That looks like Darlene. The tub. And then the other part of that was that we videoed some shit. We photographed some shit. We took him fishing. We took him. He slept out in the hotel room. He didn't kill anybody, didn't try to kill anybody. The only thing he freaked out at was when the piece of grass touched his asshole while he was shitting. He was like, and he's a boxer. I mean, like, they see dead people. So that's the thing. But it was like, someone said to me, "How much did you charge for that?" I said, "I didn't charge for that. She needs to see. She needs to see." And when I really felt like that was something that you were like, what the fuck just happened? Like, there's pictures of this dog in an elevator. There's pictures of this dog in a gym. I don't go into a gym. We went into the gym to take pictures. Right? I'd probably go into a guy named Jim before I would go into a gym. You know what I mean? So that's a sex joke, Diane. So the whole thing is that I'm constantly trying to get people to go, look at what I'm doing. Look. You can trust me. You can trust me. Come on. And there's a lot of times I have to put boundaries on people because a lot of people trust too fast. They'll come in like, "I trust you." And I'm like, don't do that. Don't fucking just watch what you see. Well, you're funny because you paid a lot of money to some people, a couple different trainers, and watch how forgiving your dog is. That's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, people who are like, "Oh, I can't fix this." I'm telling you. We took equipment off this dog. We didn't use an e-collar. We didn't use a prong collar. We had the flat collar on the dog, and the dog was like a celebrity in Blaine, Minnesota. Like, this dog was like, we were fishing with the dog down, and other dogs are walking by. I remember when, like, Diane was like, "Mom, Diane," she was like, "You guys need anything? Do you need like a muzzle, a shotgun in case Cash goes fucking crazy?" Like, and we're like, we got it. So that's the whole thing is like, look, I want to wake people up to what's happening. I want people to go, look, you've got to change how you communicate. And that when you do that, when you finally commit to that, it opens up a whole new world. It really does. Really does. So where are you now, Lisa?
It is, I kind of had given the leash to Dan for a little while and said, you gotta help out here. You gotta handle things for a little bit until I can figure out things in my own head. He's super good. Like, he doesn't break the rules, and he gets it more now than he ever has. And it was because of showing him those pictures from that hotel. Like, yeah, that. Yep. I mean, that's probably what changed it for all of us, even my kids, to see that. But Dan can pick up the leash and he can just go. And he had said to me like probably a week and a half ago, we had some people here working on the garage, and he said, I was shocked. Like I took him with me out to the garage and I was expecting him to like bark at these people and he didn't do anything. He's like, but I walked to the garage super confidently. And I'm like, yeah. And that's the problem is like if we stop getting in our head
Yep.
and just go, he's fine.
But the problem is that people are told to baby their dog. People are told to give their dog all of the things, to quote Mrs. Captain America. So we want to give the dogs. Dogs were bred to serve, not to give. They're not happy when a dog comes up to you and is like, I love you. And it's like looking for leadership. And you're like, I love you too. Hey, that's great. But that dog needs rules. That dog needs to have like hashtag boundaries. Like I'm like, nope, I'll talk to people who like I'm a normal human being and someone will say, fuck you. And I'll be like, okay, I'm not talking to you again. Or someone will say, I'm not doing that. And I go, then you can leave the seminar. And they're like, it's my seminar. I don't care whose place it is. It's my seminar. And that's that little picture I put up today. I don't know if you saw the live of me holding the phone down at Foxwoods in the museum. The lady just kept getting on her phone. And that happened in Texas too, where I walked by and this lady from Off Leash Canine, I just took her phone. And she's like, how dare you? I said, I can throw it outside. You can go get it, but I'm going to lock the door behind you. Like, stop fucking disrespecting everybody else who's here.
Right.
This is a place where everybody, like you guys have a very unique group because you all take care of each other, sometimes too much. And you do, you do. It's sometimes it gets a little enabling. And so I want you guys to like challenge each other and say you can do it, not just like come on, let's go, let's do it. And I see that starting to happen more and more and more and more, and it's really great to see from you guys. I'm very proud of you guys, and even you, Diane, I'm very proud of you. And that's listen, Diane and I, you know what this is? It's like big sister and little brother. That's what it is. That's exactly what our relationship is. She's
You're
like
the brother I abandoned.
what?
You're like the brother I abandoned.
I can't fault you for that. I can't. That's just the way it is. So yeah. Does anybody else have any seminar stuff you want to talk about or anything like that?
There were some moments of the seminar that I was like, what the heck just happened? When you had the leash with Ike, and it totally just threw me for a loop. I knew you were obviously paying attention, but part of me was like, is he really paying attention? Because you're talking to people like nothing, and all of a sudden you like just it was a simple little correction, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I wanted to like scream, like, did you just see that? Oh my gosh, did you just see that?
Yeah.
That was really cool. And then Dexter, anytime that Ellie any step, how that would kind of like set the process back just even a little bit. That was the biggest eye opener for me with how fragile trust is.
Well, listen, the longer it sets up. So just to show you the Dexter thing, it's a herder, two herders, Border Collie, Australian Shepherd, and then a hound. Okay, so you talk about dogs that don't trust. Like shepherds are harder. The Rotties are more resilient mentally. I know it sounds weird, but they're not like the Malinois and the Border Collies. They learn right away, and they learn all the wrong shit. And when you break that trust, they learn it. And it's there. And now you have to do a lot of work to get trust back. But what people think you do, and this is Dexter's problem, is that the people at that shelter think you pet him and you give him love. That's not going to get that dog out of that. That's going to keep that dog in. What I did was go, you want to fight me? You can fight me if you want. I never laid a hand on that dog. Never. And the dog is like, I'd love to have that footage, but we don't have it.
What?
Elliot.
No.
So
Elliot.
I know, right? Boo. So the deal is that dog, I said, pick up that tool of aggression. And the dog never wanted to bite me. But when you don't understand how dogs are, you're like, that dog's going to kill him. That dog was backing up. That dog, you know? So when that tool was extinguished, when the dog was like, this isn't working, now the dog says, what do you want me to do? Now we can start working. Now we can start working. The problem is that people they don't understand how dogs think. They understand how they feel. What I want to do is, I love the feelings, I love all that stuff, but you got to clear that out of the way when the dog is being worked. I am absolutely a minimalist when it comes to the dog. A minimalist. And that's what you're talking about, Lisa, is like, just, it's a feel. That's feel is what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you're worried about what your dog's going to do, the dog is leading you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
I felt that. I felt that standing up in front of everybody, like, oh my gosh, what's my dog gonna do? What's he not gonna do? And everything that was going on, he was in complete control at that moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But there's also video I have when I go get your dog, and you're like, like you were like, what are we doing here? And I'm like, go to the door, and you're like, what? Oh, I don't. You started staring at him. Like, I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, what's going on? And then we went outside, and you're like, well, he freaks out around people running. I'm like, everybody run. And then I said, everybody jump over his back. Everybody do this. Everybody do that. I love working with that dog. I have that video, but you're in the video like this. That's not my dog. And I'm like, God, it is. So when you're worried about what the dog's going to do, you're behind the dog. And it's hard because people don't understand what I'm talking about. Nobody will understand what I'm talking about unless they've seen it happen.
Yeah.
What people do now is go, oh, the dog's aggressive, get an e-collar. Oh, the dog's aggressive, get a prong collar. Oh, the dog's aggressive, get a muzzle. Why is the dog aggressive? Why? And what are the people doing that created this? And why aren't we telling them to stop that? Why aren't we doing the forensics to find out why? I mean, I probably got more information out of Lisa quickly than most people do. They just let it out. Like the lady in Panama is like, yeah, we have like 6 dogs and blah, 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 blah. And then she's like, I should probably tell you that we just bred the corgi. And I'm like, that would have been nice to know right at the beginning. So people seep out information. So what you have to do, you have to trust this. You have to trust your eyes. And when people are saying something that doesn't add up, I don't call them out. I go, that doesn't make sense to me. And there's people who will go, you're calling me a liar? I'm like, yeah. They're like, what do you mean? I go, do you give your dog affection for nothing? And they're like, no, never. And I go, right now, that's massage. Oh, okay. Like, it's like you gotta fucking put your own bullshit down, because I'm showing you how the dog sees it, not how you want it to be. That makes sense?
Well, what you're trying to do is teach us to be the problem solver, and to look at like that instead of like, that's a problem. Oh no. What technique can I use to fix this? You're like, no, look at the dog and figure out like, yeah, why is it doing it? And what can we do to actually teach it? And, and let the dog figure it out, which is so cool when you start to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you look at, if you look at that gentleman behind you who hated my guts, and I do care a lot about that guy now. You look at, calm down, Jason. Is that there's a this is going to sound so creepy, but there's a child in him that wants to pet that fucking dog, but he's 8,000. What are you doing, Chris? Can you just give your husband some attention, please? Oh, so the deal is like, you just watch. I have footage after footage after footage of Jason just reaching out for the dog, just reaching out for the dog. If you don't pay attention to those little moments, because he tries to hide that shit, but he's a giant softie. Like he bigger than me, fucking that tall. And so you're like, hey, dude, you want the dog to come to you? You want the dog to love you? Watch, I'm going to show you how to do it. And this poor guy got dragged kicking and screaming. Like he's like, all right, this is going to suck. And I watched the Yoda lesson. And I just watched the courage that you have. You're like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, I know, keep going. And you're like, you kind of, and I'm like, nope, I'm telling you, you'll get through it. You'll get through it. And you did. And that's where you need to be at that moment. And it's really hard because a lot of guys, because most of my clients are women, but a lot of guys don't realize that they have similar problems. But women are more likely to talk about it than men are. Women are going to talk. They want to talk about it. They're looking for the answer. Because women are better problem solvers than men because they have to do more things than men. And when you find men are more like me hunt, me, I mean, it's provide, and it's very. That's where the no bullshit leader comes from. You don't have time to fuck around with the dog. They're like, we're gonna do it. You're gonna do this, unless you're Chris, who just wants to deep massage the dog like Waco beef.
It's a problem.
Yes, it's your problem.
Yes.
It's not my problem. It's your problem.
Yes.
You fucking married him. That's what I'm saying. So the deal is like this is connected to this, which is connected to this, which is connected to this, and the clarity that it gives you from the dog's point of view. Where you're like, that's how my dog sees me, and then it starts to clear up. And you do less, and the dog does more. That's the goal. That's the goal. That's hard. That's tough.
Yeah. Well,
He's coming to the seminar this time because 5 days. He needs 5 days.
He's gonna leave.
No.
You're gonna cut and run, I promise.
So Chris, the first time we met was in the private, right? It was last winter.
Yes, I met you in your private. Yes, absolutely.
And Diane came home and she's like, "You've got to come to this private. This guy's amazing." And I'm like, "All right, I'll go." And I think I think you'll like this because at first I was very uncomfortable because you were handling Odin, and at first I was like, "He's being so mean to my dog. Oh my God." And then I realized that you were giving choices, right? And he could make a choice to be a dick and he would get choked out.
Yeah.
Or he could be a good boy and everything was good.
Well, let's qualify that. Choked out. The dog never went out.
No.
No.
I mean, there's people watching who are like, I knew it.
No, the dog was fine. He made good choices because he had a choice. And that was something I didn't realize. And then, Chris, we had a conference call between, just the three of us. And I was like, oh, I'm not sure if I like the way this is going. And then when you were here in the summer, I told Diane, I'm like, all right, I'll go to one session just to make you happy. You'll notice I went to both of them because I really appreciated the fact that it was the dog is making a lot of these choices. And if they make a bad choice, there's consequences. Kind of like if I were to touch the stove, it's going to burn my hand, right? And so I think that more and more I'm starting to understand that we need to allow the dog to make choices. If they make the wrong choice, it's not pleasant. If they make the right choice, it's good. And I'm still struggling with that because I'm getting manipulated because I am the monkey, but
where does that come from?
The pen dispenser monkey, but I'm starting to understand.
Look how terrified Diane looks. Look how fucking terrified Diane looks. Diane, you're like, don't say anything wrong. Don't say anything wrong. He can say whatever the fuck he wants. Here's the thing. Look at Diane. Walk through the dog, Diane. Chris, the thing is that you and Jason and most other men share like, I'm not kidding. Like, we have to be, and people I know. So first of all, let me address this. I get called misogynistic all the fucking time, like that I hate women. Yeah. Okay. That the other thing is that when I work with guys, and you saw me work with a very short guy that didn't go.
Yes.
And what happens is that guys use dogs as stress relief. They're like, "Come here, buddy, I want to play." But then they go into being a manager where they're like, "Cut the shit." And my wife will call me and go, "Hadouken's being a dick," and I'm like, "Then do something about it." Like we are the guys who sit on the front porch with the gun during the riot.
Right.
I know.
Yeah.
Ding,
I know.
ding, ding.
But then you come in from that, and who the fuck wants to train after that? You're like, "Come here, buddy, I love you."
Yeah, but Chris, the one thing that you said in our last seminar, which is why I will come back however many days you're here, 5 days, is originally I was looking for instructions, and you said this very clearly. I was looking for instructions. I want to do A, B, and C. And you said, no, you've got to look for lessons. And it comes back to what you guys were talking about like a half hour ago or 45 minutes ago. Every dog is different.
Yep.
And so the instructions of A, B, and C will not work for every dog.
Nope.
But you need to understand the underlying fundamentals of how the dog views it. Mm-hmm. And if you learn those lessons, then the dog and the owner is going to be happy.
Well, those lessons are around for every other animal on the planet except for us. We've done away with them.
Right.
So we go, well, Diane, I will not get into politics with you, nor will you. But if someone goes to take your specific candidate's sign off your front lawn, they're probably going to bleed, right?
Well, now especially.
I know.
Yeah.
Is that
true.
accurate?
That is accurate.
That's it. So don't make me mute you. So now, why are you teaching that? Because there needs to be a boundary there. And so when we take our dogs and we're like, do all the things, that's what those people are doing. They're doing all the things. So what's really amazing is that I keep calling you a Democrat because you act like a Democrat with your fucking dogs. Look at that face. Look at that face. God, that's the best thing in the world. Who else could say that to her? Who else?
Not that guy.
Nope, I know. Poor bastard. That poor bastard.
Get up yourself. Oh my God.
I love Chris. I think Chris is awesome. Chris is great. He's fantastic. I'm a big fan. Big fan.
5 days.
Listen, you know what? Watch if you commit, like, don't set him up for failure. So don't take him on the Bataan Death March, then send him out in a tsunami to fucking wakeboard, and then feed him fucking keto pizza. And
He
be
likes
like,
the keto pizza.
no, you tell him he likes keto pizza. Treat the fucking husband like the dog and the dog like the husband. You're gonna be fine. Look at Lisa going. Watch Lisa down there. Lisa's like, makes sense to me. Facts. Yeah, just saying. That's a hard thing for people, and we have fun. Like it gets like, I think one of the things that I like to do is infuse some humor, because it gets heavy. It gets real heavy, and I love to put the humor in to keep everybody laughing, and they usually don't see it coming. And that's one of those things where, like, Lisa's like, I don't know, sometimes it's a little rude. It is. But you laugh, and that's a great thing. I mean, when someone can tell you the truth and you can trust them, you have something there. And I think you guys have that group it's crazy good how you guys, but you had to go through the bad shit to get to the good shit. And that's what I tell people that's what I'm trying to tell you, Lisa, is that you wouldn't be where you are now without all of the trainers. That's
right.
You got to take the bad with the good. You really got to. And that's one of those things where that's not a phenomenon around you. That's everywhere. That's everywhere. I was going to put a question up on Nikki's group. Who's the most hated dog trainer in the United States? I promise you it will be me. I promise. Because people don't understand it. What I'm trying to do is get people back to communication basics. It's just that simple. And if you let me, it's gonna do great things for your dog, and you're gonna see the problems disappear because these things are symptoms. These dogs are, people go, oh, my dog's good, but I love my dog if, you know what I mean? Like, no. Let's give these dogs a great life, like a great life. That's what we need to do. And that's what we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Jason, shut the fuck up back there, will you please?
Oh, he was nodding.
Jason. Oh, all right.
I'm trying to figure out what Jason's wearing.
Anybody have any questions for the group of murderers row here? The 6 people who are up here. He's in his Snuggie. I know.
He is.
I'm going to take his man card.
Blanket. Yeah.
No, he's great. He's great. Does anybody who hasn't been to a seminar have a question for them? I would like to do that. And if you're on YouTube, I don't know if anybody can read the YouTube questions. I've been trying. Probably not.
I would like to say something.
Jesus, that mic's back on.
all my defenders that sent the emails. But I can take it because I'm a bitch.
That's going to cost you. That's going to cost you in December.
No, honestly, I didn't realize like a lot of what I am, all of me. I thought I did. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm all about, I got it. I totally know what I am. But I didn't. And it's like, huh? So,
that's why they call blind spots blind spots.
I know. But I'm trying to peel the layers now. Peeling
Yeah, I
like
got
a fucking onion. I'm an onion. I'm
but that's what was the turning point?
I think the turning point was not during the seminar because I felt like shit. And not even afterwards. I just had to start marinating in it. You don't think?
This foot, that ass.
Well,
that's
yeah.
what changed it. Where you don't get talked to like that.
No.
No. And you were like, what is happening? Like to the point where I'm like, just walk through the dog. What'd you do? I don't know. Pudding. Like you had to get that wake-up call so you would start thinking differently.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Is that I was like, because I've always I'm telling you, it's like very much like a brother and sister relationship where we fuck around with each other constantly. Like I'm like, shut up, bitch. She's like, fuck you. Like that's how it is, right? And that's I'm not like that with everybody, but that's how she is. And that plays right into my crazy. So we kind of have the same cats and monkeys in our heads, right? So, but there's a time where I'm like, look, I'm not playing with you anymore. I'm not playing with you. That's what that was like, look, I'm not playing with you. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? I'm not playing with you. And that's the trouble is with Diane is Diane puts boundaries on everybody. So you're like the head, like this is what we're going to do. I have bullet points. This car will get 8.7 miles to the gallon and we will have the fucking percent and power cent. And I'm like, who the fuck is this chick? Like you can't even heal your dog. Like you can't get your dog's front end to look at you. Well, that's the problem is because that style of communication is not conducive to getting the dog is. So that's avoidance behavior where the dog is like, I know, that's great. And leaves. That's avoidance behavior. What you want is the dog to go like, like if your dog looks at you like that man behind you looks at you, You need. Can you play hard to get, please? You're in a little needy right now, okay? The deal is you have to reward positive behavior.
I'm giving him a hand job right now.
Okay. Goodbye. That's enough of that. All right, I'd like to thank everybody for using my business that used to be in business. Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
Yeah, fine.
A hand job,
Oh, okay.
a hand job, the skim milk of
Uh,
sexual maneuvers, by the way. So,
Skim milk.
this is what it's like. This is what it's like. And people, so if you're like, this is vulgar, I want real. I want all the PC gone. I want it gone. And I really do. People have a hard time with it. There were people of Christ in that room, and they're like, are we really saying this? And I go, say fuck you. And they're like, fuck you. And I'm like, all right, there you go. We have to be, everybody has to be on the same level. That's what it is. And that's where we start, you know? So it's really like, you guys are exhausting, but I've never worked with a better group of people, never worked with a nicer group of people, never worked with a more cooperative group of people. The reason I keep coming back out there is because you guys keep investing. And that's something that means a whole lot to me. In a world where people hate my guts for trying to do a better job, you guys are an oasis of greatness out there. Really, seriously. I'm going to give you this. Yep.
hey.
All right. Does anybody else want to come on? Because Lisa's talking everything up and just not letting anyone else talk.
I know. Sorry.
Does anybody have any questions for these people? Like, does Chris kick your dog at the seminar? Does Chris beat everybody's ass? Does Chris eat all your food? Does Chris shit in your toilet and break it? Like, all these things. Lisa, I've never shat in your toilet. That was terrible. Now I want to come to your house. I'm going to drop a bomb in there.
That's okay. I have boys. I'm used to that.
Boys.
I know.
My two boy. I'm like, boy. That's I find myself saying that all the time. Boy, like what? You're not going to get a girl. Like that's how I am. Mostly towards Austin. All right, that's it. Nobody has questions. I would think with all the superstitions surrounding the seminars that I give, where people are like they think they know what I'm doing in there, you got a chance to talk to some people. You got a chance.
Right.
This
Or people just kind of had this preconceived idea that, you know, you're gonna show up and automatically like yelling at them or something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know you had alluded like you were intimidated, you know, by Chris, and that's kind of one of the reasons why you were hesitant to you know, even reach out to him. Like, oh, he's just gonna be mad. Like, no, like why? Yeah, like there's nothing to be mad, you know.
No, I mean, I'm telling you, he doesn't yell, he talks with love.
Yeah.
That's the thing is everybody is going through their own shit. And every time I send Chris a video of me being shit, I nearly don't. No, you have to. You have to. These lessons are, and some of these things that I put out with these lessons, that's what I can put out. There are some things that are very deeply personal that I'm not going to put out, that I'm not going to ever say, hey, look at me, because what I did, that's not going to happen. There are moments that are so personal with people, and they connect with you on such a molecular level that you're like, you know, you did a great job today. And it was hard for them. It's a lot harder for people that come to my seminar than it is for me, but it's hard for me. And I don't know if you guys would agree with that, but in the beginning, it's very, very difficult for people.
Yeah. You know, why does everyone cry? Well, not everybody cries. Well, a majority. Well, because when
You'll cry, Kim. You'll cry. Kim will cry.
Oh gosh. Well, when you start really taking a look at like you, at how you are with your dog, like this last seminar, I on the drive home, I had some really big light bulb moments go off. I'm like, oh my God, my dog is a reflection of me. Like I've heard that so many times, but I really started like kind of letting that go deep into my brain and like peeling back the layers. Like, I allow because that's how I grew up and that's the way my mom does things and my dad and so I'm seeing how I act with and do the things for my dog. I'm like, I'm doing the same things that drive me insane about my mom to my stupid dogs. My stupid dog.
But that's how you survived.
Yeah.
And so what happens now is when we get a dog, we don't do those things to the dog. We feel bad, so we feel bad for the dog. Does that make sense? Like, I need comfort. This dog has to comfort me. And next thing you know, you have a fucking 100-pound Rottweiler going after another dog down the street because the dog said, you know what? You're weak and you want me to be in charge. I'll take all the good shit that goes with that. But I have some baggage you're going to have to cope with because you're too weak to deal with it. I see people all the time where I'm like, you don't know that you're a fucking badass. Like, you don't know what a badass you are. And you guys have seen that. But there's other people that think they're badasses where I'm like, and you know what I'm talking about. You're not a badass. You're hiding behind so much and you're not a badass. So don't act like a badass. It's the people who don't think that they're sheared off. People who don't think they're a badass that you got to pull it out of them. You got to go, did you see what you did? Because that's pretty pimp. But then there's people who are like, ta-da! And you're like, no, that's not it. Well, you're a dick. Okay?
Yeah.
You dog trainers inherently like to show you that they know more than you. And that's the gig. Well, you don't know what you're doing. That's really the gig. Like, they're like, well, this person does. I had a person call me up who's a dog trainer a couple of years ago and said, Chris, these fucking people, this beagle that's aggressive and howls and everything. And they're like, they don't know how to fucking train a dog. I'm like, no shit, Sherlock. They're fucking coming to you to learn that. Well, I don't know how to do it. It's barking and it's doing this and I'm doing that. Then you're not a dog trainer. That's the problem, is it takes years to learn this shit and nobody's learning it. Nobody's learning it. Kathy, how many times have I sent you those certificates that say $25 and you're an animal psychologist?
Right.
Is that what I had
You
to
just
do?
posted one days ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, Lisa, where are you now with Cash and your journey with Cash?
When I pick up the leash, it's letting go of everything else and just picking up the leash and going. Like, if we're going out to go to the bathroom, I'm not worried that he's going to jump and bark at something outside. We're going to the bathroom. So if you're going to jump and bark, you jump and bark. We're still going to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom, come back in, and that's just the way it is.
Listen to her voice.
So
No, right?
it's taken some time. I mean, I have it in me. It's just a matter of, I was so scared and I'm like, what if I hurt him, or what if I do the wrong thing? What if I make somebody mad? Now I'm like, yeah, it's not the way it's going to be anymore.
Right.
We're just going to do it.
Worrying about hurting the dog got him hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
He's not, that dog is a dream. If you know how to handle a dog, that dog's a dream. A dream. That's the problem, is people. The other thing too is dog trainers never, like, they go, oh, this dog's fucked up. This dog's fucked up. It's not a dog. It's them. Like, you understand? And it's, I think, again and again, you guys are so amazing. I really have been not giving people credit, because once you do that, like, someone goes and opens their own dog training business. That happened. That happened with someone from the seminar. In the last seminar up there, someone went and opened their own dog training business. Tell me who that should be.
Nobody. No. Heck no.
Right. So, all right.
One thing I'll add is that I think there's some people, the reason a lot of people cry is because we actually learn how to see it from the dog's eye point of view. When you don't know that and you don't understand that, it's not as real. But when you really start to grasp that and understand that, it does bring out emotion in people.
Yep. Well, I think it's a combination of that, which is understanding the dog's eye point of view, which is like, holy fuck, that's a lot. But I also think it's what you're going through now, Lisa, is to let go of all the shit. And my goal is to put myself out of business. It will never happen, but I'm serious, like to put myself out of business. And now what I'm trying to do is get other trainers. Like I can't, trainers who are already making money aren't going to stop training the way they're training. My goal is to get the Elliots and the Shalandas, the April Gilbert Sullivan, April, what's her last name? Fuck. Yeah. And so now Collins, no. And Janelle and all these people, like Janelle's had a hard week. It's been a hard week. But I just got a note saying, you know what, you're my friend. Thank you for saying that. That's what we need more of. Not this fucking just hammering on people and fucking, and that's what I'm accused of all the time. And I'm like, you just don't know how bad it is out there. You just don't know how bad it is out there. Elliot and I were talking 2 a.m. this morning, and I'm like, why are we laughing at this? She goes, because we'll cry if we don't. That's how bad it is. Like, I feel bad for dogs. I feel bad for dogs. It's tough. It's tough. But I think you guys are, what is this? This is going to be, yes, I will make it available. When I've gone to the toe with a few of my mentors, those were my greatest lessons. Oh, bring it. Like that's my thing. You just come at me legitimately and ask questions and we'll learn. But at the seminar before this one, when someone was like, you're not telling us what to do, I'm like, I have been doing nothing but telling you what to do. You're just listening. And that look at Christina's smile. Look at it. Yeah, you know. And if I'm wrong, if I'm wrong, I'll go, okay, I got it. I'm wrong. I apologize. If I'm not wrong, it's not going to change. It's not going to change. I will hold my ground and be like, nope, I'm a walking through the dog motherfucker. Guys, I thank you a lot for everything. I am very proud of you guys. Jason tried to stay awake. I'm very proud of you guys. And man works hard. You gotta leave him alone. And I hope to see you all at a seminar. And please, if you have a question about how I teach, ask these people. If you have a question about what I do, talk to me. Don't fuck what you heard. Fuck what you heard because you don't know. And that's the problem is that I want people to invest in their dogs, but before they do that, they have to invest in themselves. They have to do it. And that's a big deal.
Yeah.
All right. That's it, I guess.
Good night, everybody.
Later. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.